We booked business class through Air Canada. So I have 20 minutes to talk today to talk about a frequently asked question about airfare from going to Halifax, Nova Scotia from Dubai or the Middle East. Ours is quite different from the others, and I should say our airfare was really expensive because we had around 13 luggages with us, and we booked it all together through the airlines that we booked with. So first is the Dubai to Toronto leg, or first is Dubai to Toronto leg. So that was so we booked through Emirates Airlines. We booked economy, unfortunately, because business class and how much more first class was so expensive. As far as I could remember, that was around 15,000 dirhams each, one way, excluding other extra luggages. So we booked through Emirates, and then we booked it like a couple of months before departure. So my advice as well, and this would be applicable for everyone, book everything in advance so that you could get cheaper rates, especially if you're on a tight budget already, because you don't have a job anymore in Dubai or Middle East, because you have rendered your notice already, and you've spent a couple of your savings or money before coming here for the preparation on going to Nova Scotia in Canada. We had 13 luggages with us, excluding the carry-on. So with Emirates, you are only allowed one carry-on baggage of 7 kilograms, and then one small bag, as far as I could remember. That is a direct flight from Dubai to Toronto. The flight hours was almost 16 hours straight, no stopovers, straight from Dubai to Toronto. So you should be ready for that long flight, and that's gonna be a very that will be your longest flight of your life for sure, from the Middle East or from Dubai. It's really far. During that time, there was only one flight per day. The airplane that they used was an Airbus A380. The cost, we paid around almost 8,000 dirhams, or under 8,000 dirhams. So it's 7,960 dirhams. And then if you are going to convert that to Canadian dollars, that is around $2,955. That is just the airfare. So the necessary luggages were included already. So that was 2 luggages each airfare, and that is one way. That was one way, and so that was 23 kilograms each luggage. So that was the inclusive, and then food was also included there. So Of course, it's Emirates. You know how good their food are. You wouldn't regret. Their food is great. I love their food. Oh, and then during that time, the flight was full. And to think, that was 2021, and that was still during the restrictions. But the flight was so full. We were even the staffs from Emirates were even surprised that that flight was full, because months before it wasn't that full. And imagine, even people could still lie down on the seat to sleep, at their economy class. So imagine how only few people were there. So that during that time it was really full. And then for the luggage, the extra luggage, with our experience, we were able to book the extra luggage after the confirmation of our flight booking. So I wasn't able to book extra luggage along with the airfare. So what happened also was it took time for us. I guess that was a month before we left to book the extra luggage, because we still didn't know how many luggages that we are going to bring. And with our surprise, we bought 13 luggages because we had a lot of things to bring. So for those 13 luggages, we paid an extra 3,040 dirhams, or in Canadian dollars it is 1,128 Canadian dollars for the 13 luggages. So imagine how expensive it was to get the or to book the extra luggages. It was really expensive, but we took into account that it would be more expensive to buy new things in Halifax, in Nova Scotia, in Canada, than bringing the things that we have. So, and yep, it was cheaper. It was really cheaper for us to bring those ones. We could have spent more than that amount that we spent for the extra luggages. And then for the second leg, that is from Toronto to Halifax, Nova Scotia, we took Air Canada. Why we took Air Canada? It's because it's like we didn't have any choice. Air Canada had a better deal versus the other airlines. So the catch here is we booked business class through Air Canada. So again, we booked business class, and I tell you, we booked business class because it is more practical to book business class rather than booking economy. I don't know what happened, but when I was calculating, it's really cheaper for us to get it's more practical for us to. Oh, sorry, it's not cheaper actually. It's more practical, and then the experience also on being on business class through Air Canada. So the reason that we also opted for business class through Air Canada, it's because number one, we want to access the lounge, because that long hours flight from Dubai to Toronto, for sure you're gonna be very tired. And then between our flight from going to Halifax, Nova Scotia, we still had around 4 to 5 hours of layover. So, and then I just remembered the flight got delayed by an hour, because during that time there was there was a snowstorm during the time, so they had to de-ice the airplane first. So second is the second reason why we booked business class is we just want to experience business class with Air Canada. And then third reason is with business class there are extra luggages that you could get versus the economy. So if we are going to book economy and then add the luggages, then it would add, everything would add up. Rather than booking business class, you will have I think there was 3 luggages. I couldn't recall it anymore, but there are more free, no, not free, but it's already included in the payment, but there are more luggages included, check-in luggages included with the business class versus the economy. So it was quite more practical for us because we were able to experience the business class with Air Canada, then access the lounge. What else? Yeah, and then priority seating. In other words, there was lesser stress on your flight from Toronto going to Halifax, Nova Scotia. So that's why it's more kind of more practical for us. So it was really worth it though. No regrets actually, even though it's a bit more expensive, but the difference is not by the thousands, to tell you. It was just only a couple of hundreds, and then we just closed our eyes on those couple of hundreds of dollars, and then experienced business class. So how much did we pay? So we paid 4,174 dirhams, or 1,549 Canadian dollars for that business class flight from Toronto to Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. So that was, when I take into account into dollars, that was really expensive, but it's more practical. And so back on the luggages. So I can't recall on how much we paid for the extra luggages with Air Canada, because we had to pay for the extra luggages when you are already at the airport. So you have to pay for it at their counter, at their desk, once you are in the destination, or once you are in Toronto already. So I couldn't recall it anymore. How much did we pay for it? Because it was just like we were shrouded. I mean, our minds were shrouded already during that time, because we were so tired already with our flight. So apologies, I can't share it with you. However, if I can recall, then I'll put it on my next video and share it with you. So so that was the airline experience that we had with Air Canada. Oh, it's full. Oh. A lot of kids right now. A lot of kids.